This is it. This is going to be the final set. What are these teams going to bring to the table?
Yeah, I mean, we've only seen one game or one set go 2-0 today. Every single set on winner's side has gone the distance. Losers round finals, gone the distance, 3 games. And now we're here in a bracket reset. So I guess we're getting the maximum amount of games here, Kello, maximum entertainment for everybody. Thank you for all for still being here, especially our European friends who are definitely looking for a coffee right now to make sure they can finish out this game.
Oh man, it's not only them looking for a coffee. I've been going since 4 a.m. this morning. It's 10:30 a.m. already. But here we go. We're going to go in with the typical bans, Slowbro and Umbreon not being let out onto the field. I mean, despite Phalanx not really performing as well as it did last round, it looks like Inter are looking to ban it up themselves along with that Mimikyu, which is going to let Blaziken out onto the field once again.
Yeah, I feel like finagling orange juicers with a phalanx is definitely probably a better play than outright banning it. I feel like it's a big red flag in draft right there from Inter, and that's going to allow orange juicers to get this Blaziken. They've gotten the Hoopa yet again, and also zugrug cracking out the Crustle. All right. Zugrug ready to cook some crab ragoon here for Inter. I feel like they do have Sylveon though, so if if Orange Juicers does go for that double defender composition, they'll will be able to counter.
Oh, I'm really interested to see what orange juices are going to pair up with this crustal. Maybe we will see that mage style character come on out, a Delphox maybe, but it looks like Flareons is hovering over that Mew. No, they're going to go in for the Chandelure unless some last picks are very undecisive here for this final set of the day. They want to make sure they have the perfect team composition.
Yeah, I feel like they were trying to anticipate Inter's pick 5 more than pick for themselves.
Mm.
Seeing this Aurora already, that's going to be great for that candle because it's not going to be able to immediately just hop in and unite unless if it gets stuck on top of that in prison. I feel like Chandelure in prison actually goes really, really great here. So I feel like this is a great pickup here from Orange Juicers, and then we've already seen Machizzle continue to succeed on this Metagross.
Yeah, it is working out really well for them. So making sure to lock that in. However, I'm looking at Inter's team composition here. They don't have any tanks on their side. They have opted for Eldegoss and Mr. Mime support. And I guess when you think about the support roster, these are probably two of the more squishier ones. Bar that Hooper, however, that has been selected by Roland. So I am a little bit worried for them, especially coming on into Kratos' Blaziken. But even, we've seen Machizzle's Metagross absolutely run havoc with that gyro ball, but even Flareons with the Chandelure burst that it can provide, as they dub it, it's that glass cannon, right? It's super squishy, but it can just deal out so much damage.
Yeah, I feel like Orange Juicers just has the upper hand in draft right now, but I don't feel like Inter is exactly stuck up the creek without a paddle. They do have that Mr. Mime that they can rely on to be a frontline, and they also do have that Sylveon, which is definitely one of the more tanky attackers with a higher HP value. So Inter's not necessarily playing with too much, but they're definitely not going to have much room for failure here.
No, you definitely want to try and be as cautious as possible heading on into this grand finals. Orange juices on the purple side, into on the orange. Looks like we're going to send the Zero Aura and the Gossifleur up into that top path. Beldum not looking to make the same mistake that they did last time in terms of going into with an invade. They're just going to prioritize getting all these wild Pokemon. However, Sylveon has already made their way up into the top path, and it's opted for that Hyper Voice. I think this is a great shredding tool coming into the front line that orange juices are providing right now.
Yeah, and it's going to be a great way to break these Metagross Gyro Ball shields while maintaining just enough range to stay out of getting hit. But it's going to require picture perfect positioning right here from the Sylveon to really take advantage of that. Kraitos is going to have that level 5 and be able to drag that farm away, but Inter is able to lock down the Big Bird and a knockout on top.
Yeah, and they are going to go in for this four-person push, looking to try and take down this Blazing. However, they were able to push back that Zero Aura with that Blaze Kick, grab themselves a berry, but they're not able to stop those dunks at all, as Cramorant is going to look for a little bit more with this red buff, and no, who ended up actually getting that? I think it might have been the Combuskin?
Yeah, I believe it was the Combuskin because they did get the experience for that Beldum to evolve into a Metang, even though there's no buff underneath them. And it definitely didn't go to the Hoopit either, so great secure right there from that Combuskin, stopping Inter from shopping in the enemy team's jungle. But these 8-minute Altaria families are spawning, and Orange Juice is definitely scaling.
I feel like the planets just aligned from both of those teams, all lined up in a row as they head on into that central area. Meantime, does end up getting taken down, not able to leave via that hyperspace hole. However, this has provided the opportunity for Blaziken to go and get in some attack weight stacks of their own, and they're going to push on back with a Blaze Kick, not able to hit a wall, so not able to get that stun utilization.
Yeah, and this Russell Rock Tomb is gonna be very interesting to see because there's multiple members on Inter that will be able to jump and get dragged away like that Zorora just did to zugrug themselves. So Inter definitely snowballing off of this top side. Machizzle might try to get some value here, but eventually it's going to be picked away by that Zora, and Inter is absolutely taking control of this early game.
Oh, but look at this. A perfect over dunk here, 28 points, and that is going to send them into the lead, 142-220. And now they have enough space to go and take down this Regieleki. It'll be really interesting to see whether they're going to push on forward with this momentum or whether they're just going to leave Regieleki as a distraction. But, I mean, Reggie's still about to be secured, and there we go, to Orange Juice's side. So they do have a little bit more power to get the defenses up, and because of that hyperspace hole, they're able to just maneuver Orange Juices up into the top path and defend the Regieleki.
Unfortunately, the Inter was not able to find the damage or the secures right there. Orange Juice are doing some great job splitting up that Zora and making sure that they didn't take too much damage and nobody got knocked out. And they're taking this priority and moving it over to the bot side. I don't think Orange Juice is going to continue that push, getting back to safety. And I feel like Inter definitely tried to outplay them there, but Orange Juicers lost the least.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. Looking at the levels across the board, we do have that Zero Aura reaching that level 10. Crystal Steel only at that level 7, well, now reaching level 8. So definitely needing to try and pick up some experience across the board. However, Metagross is caught siloed out. Oh my gosh. The Compute and Crush just got baited out as the Eldegoss was able to use their eject button out of that.
Yeah, and here we see already a masterclass of how to deal with Metagross right there, just completely outranging it, making sure it doesn't hit those big 2-3-man gyro balls that get it that massive, overwhelming shield. And Inter was just able to perfectly space them out. But zugrug possibly looking for the first catch they find on this mime, and that's going to be showtime for Inter to try to make something happen here. They try to get another drag with that discharge, but it's not enough. 1 HP walking away is that mime, and they're able to close out the Blaziken zugrug, and is trying to get a nice X-Scissor to stop that Zorora from cleaning up any more kills, and Orange Juice was able to walk away only losing 1.
Yeah, they only lose 1, but the thing is, we have Orange Juices that have 4 Unite moves. I mean, 3 Unite moves, because I guess we've got to discount that Blaziken one, as we do have both of those objectives spawning. Orange Juices have seemed to go for this Regieleki, looking to shred it down as quickly as possible, and leaving that Hooper down bot side, and the perfect timing to use that hyperspace hole as Regieleki was secured.
Yeah, unfortunately, Machizzle was not able to get out in time. Inter was able to confirm that kill with the Gatling Gold Missile. That's going to be a big fat overcap that this NDD is doing a little bit of trolling and stopping. Finally, Roland does able to be step forward and stop that poor NDD from beating on Flareons. That score does go in. Orange Juicers now only 10 points behind, but with a Registeel buff and a level 12 Chandelure on the field, the Orange Juice's got to be feeling pretty good for the position that they're in right now.
Yeah, really on the back foot at the beginning of the game, but the fact that they're able to catch up in levels, pretty much catch up in points as well, is really just showing the determination and the grit that Orange Juices have right now. They do not want to let Inter take this match, but Inter have a plan to go and push this bottom tier 1 pad, being able to take down the Chandelure, push a little bit too forward without any protection at all.
Yeah, they did get picked out there. Flareons immediately deleted, but Inter isn't able to do much more than that now that the rest of Orange Juicers are here. Machizzle is in that backline. Blaziken, Kraitos trying to find some sort of secure, but the Cramorant and the Eldegoss are going to be able to get away. Inter losing little for that, a little over-aggressive tier 1 push where it feels like they should have lost a lot more.
I mean, we have what? About 25 seconds left to go until this Regieleki. Whether any of these teams are going to prioritize it, Inter do have a bit of a buffer here considering they have that tier 1 pad. So Orange Juices probably don't want to let them get it. Considering it is really close to the final stretch, but instead they have other plans on their mind. As we can see on the mini-map that the Crustal paired up with, I think it's the Metagross, is going to go and take a little bit of a detour, and Inter are aware of this. They're going to actually retreat on back instead of going and getting the Regieleki.
No.
But they weren't able to stop the dunks, and are they able to get some early KOs here? Blaziken is out of the fight, also forcing Zugrug to pop their Rubble Rouser early.
I feel like that Rebel Rouser might bite Orange Juicers in the rear. They're going to have to pop the Springs Unbound and an OT. They really need to make something happen fast here. Orange Juicers needs to get some pulp going right now. Machizzle's in the back trying to find the secure, but does end up going down. Hoopa ends up going down again right now. Kraitos is trying to find some sort of value, but Inter is set up to take this Rayquaza Kalo.
Oh, they just need to try and shred it. However, we do have members entering back in from Orange Juices. So Cramorant is going to utilize their Gatling Bolt missile to go and send that Blaziken back to home base. And now the scoring shields are in hand for Inter. Tier 1, a free dunk here for Mr. Mime. And a zoom in on the Cramorant also getting in their juicy hundo burgers.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of scores here from Orange Juicers. It's going to be really difficult. They've got over a 300-point lead that they're going to need to make up for, and that's still so many shields here on the side of Inter, so they could make this point lead even worse right now. Orange Juicers desperately trying to find some sort of picks. Cramorant is still collecting points in the top side, and I still do feel like it has a full shield as well. So if it's going to be able to get in here, that's going to definitely put the last final nail in the coffin here for Orange Juicers.
Yeah, it's definitely going to seal the deal here as 296 points go on the board. I mean, looking at the points that Orange Juices have, I mean, we have a Crustal with 0 points, Hooper with 5 points, and I guess they're aware of this as they have actually decided to go in with a surrender.
Orange Juicers definitely tried to make something out of nothing there and ended up getting absolutely punished. I feel like Orange Juicers definitely could have taken advantage of not popping that Rubble Rouser down bot, and they were so close to getting in that tier 2 score, though, I feel. So unfortunately, Inter just a second ahead in time, and that second was all Orange Juicers needed, and it was just not enough.
I guess that's the risk that they tried to take is recognizing that yes, Inter were up in that top path, ready to potentially shred down that Regieleki. But I think Inter's awareness there to actually retreat on back and then use the jump pad to get those KOs instead of prioritizing shredding the Regieleki was a really great call from them. And you know, The thing is, with this team, so I guess for those folks that are just joining us over at the Unity Clash, we had two ways of qualifying for the finals today. So we had open qualifiers for each of the regions, being that of EU, NA, LATAM, and Brazil. But we also had a pool of players who were invited from each of the regions based on their performance during the UCS season. So a lot of the world's contenders ended up, I guess, fast tracking their way into them. Inter or is actually one of the teams that qualified during the open qualifiers, whereas Orange Juices are one of the invited teams considering they did come first at NAIC. So, this is the first that we're actually seeing from this team composition. And it'll be really interesting to see after Unity Clash whether they're going to continue forward with this roster.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they haven't had the easiest time getting up here to grand finals. They took down Antiku, who looked like they had every single person on the top brackets number right there in winner semifinals. They went through E7 Hoenn. They also beat Nemesis as well. So I definitely feel like they've earned their spot here in this grand finals 1000%. But Orange Juicers has earned it 2,000,000%, having to break through that round, that losers round. So going into game 2 draft here, Kello, what do you feel like Orange Juicers needs to mix up? Do you feel like the Metagross pick just wasn't enough value? Do we need a Bans Aurora? Like what's going on?
I'm liking the Metagross pick for machizzle here. I don't think anything really needs to change for them. I think it was more just those last second decisions before the final stretch. Making the unfortunate choices to get caught on out. I feel like flareons on the Chandelure, we did see they only managed to get 15k damage. So, not able to land their mark. I mean, you want to see a little bit more coming out from an attacker. I'm thinking like last round, instead of a Chandelure, I reckon a Delphox would have actually probably worked out a bit better there, considering they did have that Rock Tomb, Excisor, Crustle over on their side. So interesting choices, but you know what? The thing is, past is the past. You cannot change it. The only thing is, these teams need to look on forward to the future and decide the present here and now. What are they going to select? Because if Inter do actually win this, they are going to be your Unity Clash West champions. Bans, what are you thinking, Ribbon?
I feel like Orange Juicers, it's very surprising to see them banning the Hoopa this time around. Just possibly not wanting Inter to get that as a first pick, but they've already taken away the mine, which I feel like has been maximum value, not only in like this grand final set, but also just throughout the entirety of today. It's been such a strong pick, such a safe pick, such a pick that easily controls the tempo in these early and mid game fights. But machizzle going over to the Gyarados would definitely be a swap. They do slide over to the Gyarados, though. I also like Inter taking away this Metagross as well.
Yeah, taking away Metagross from Machizzle, which means they're going to end up going with the Buzzwole pick here. Nutlechos is going to select that Zeraora, sorry, wrong Z Pokemon there. Once again, and you know what? They did actually play a pretty incredible game last round. I feel like they really, funnily enough, fell under the radar despite doing 100k damage that last round.
Yeah, and now Inter also taking away the Chandelure as well, but at least in the other draft, it did make a little bit more sense with how Orange Juicers had it. Unfortunately, it just was not able to really get off the ground with how much overwhelming pressure the Sorora was able to put into that Chandelure. But I feel like Chandelure doesn't really have the biggest front line to play around. So this might be an avenue for Absol to find flanks, and this Chandelure just might end up looking just like how it did last game. Don't know. We'll
Yeah,
see.
I think that's definitely going to have to be one of Chandelure's biggest threats. Is the assassin, the Absol. I mean, even Flareon's on a Cramorant, depending on what moveset it ends up going for. Whether it's Hurricane or Dive, I think both movesets are a great play into the Chandelure pick. So I'm wondering what Inter's thoughts were selecting this Pokemon.
Yeah, I feel like Orange Juicers definitely has more of that traditional all-rounded team composition that not only will like hold strong laning phases, but also like carry some pretty consistent plays into the Rayquaza fight. Meanwhile, Inter is going to be looking for those picks, but I don't feel like this Metagross outside of this Eldegoss is as set up as they have it on Orange Juicers. They do have that Eldegoss for that additional damage with that passive, but they're going to need definitely a lot more to really try to crack this Buzzwole.
Pokemon Unite trainers and fans here joining us for the Unity Clash West Finals. This could potentially be our final match if Inter are able to take this win. One up. It's going to be an intense battle here for today. You know what? First up, it's just the same old song and dance, wouldn't you say, Ruben?
Yeah, I would say, and it does look like that Inter is winning it on both ends of the field right there. This Zora is easily out securing this bot lane of this Cramorant and the Umbreon that is yet to evolve into an Eevee. But I feel like Orange Juicers is trading here on the top side as well. They do get flareons online with level 5. Kraitos is going to be looking for this dive onto this Lampent, and they really need to knock out this Pokemon.
I think that's really interesting positioning there from Kratos. The very aggressive side positioning to come in from behind as they are distracted by the three members that march on forward. But it's going to be whether a 4v3 is going to be enough, because Inter were able to kite themselves back onto that pad, and there's no KOs being picked up on either side just yet.
Yeah, not necessarily the best value right there from Orange Juicers. Inter not able to pick out that Beldum because they just got one piece of farm that was enough to get them to that Metang and take advantage of those evolution frames to not allow Orange Juicers to deal damage to them. Meanwhile, we're still seeing this Gyro Ball absolutely cooking on this top side, sending Machizzle and Kratos running for the hills. Meanwhile, on this bot side is the absolute same story. The Cramorant is setting up so many kills for this Absol.
The burn to go and get the last tick of damage on the Absol, send it back to the Pokemon Center. Umbreon is on the run away from that Zero Aura as they have decided to go in for that Volt Switch moveset. However, we do have Inter being able to get all of the Swablues and Altaria there for themselves. No orange juices in sight in that central area.
Yeah, it looks like they just had to surrender it, unfortunately, being beaten back to their pad yet again. This time, unfortunately, Machizzle is going to be taking a trip back to the Pokemon Center. This Pussy almost following in suit, as that's a lot of goals being dragged in right there for Inter, but that is going to allow Orange Juicers to get some farm before the 7-minute objective spawn.
This bottom pad is left on 8 points. Another 2 dunk. Whether they're going to look at breaking it, but you know what? 5 is going to leave it on that perfect 1. But not able to, I guess, break it and create some space for this basement Reggie. However, they were able to knock out that Mr. Mime. And you know what? This is the thing. Yes, there is no overcap, but that is going to stop Inter from pushing on forward while Orange Juices take care of that Regirock for themselves.
Yeah, and I feel like Regirock is the best buff that Orange Juicers could ask for with that boost to their defense and special defense, especially with the overwhelming amount of damage that Inter is bringing to the table. They're going to need every bit of defenses to try to survive this onslaught, especially when the Zora, already almost level 9, is going to possibly be clicking into its Unite, possibly a mid-team fight. The Cramorant is the one that ends up getting the secure, though, and it's Inter that's running for the hills. This is possibly Orange Juicers' time to take the game by the heels. That's 1 kill for the Absol. That's 2 kills for the Absol. Already in the backline, deep in that flux zone. That's going to allow Orange Juicers to break this tier 1 in the top side, catch up in points, catch up in levels, and now Orange Juicers is looking like they're in control.
Machizzle on that Buzzwell, picking up that Metang back into the middle of the rest of those members. And now they're going to utilize the time here to secure themselves that red buff. As Zero Aura is just going to wait with their Unite move, going to utilize it. However, they weren't able to pick up the KO because of Buzzwell ended up entering with a Swole Slam of their own, plus that Bliss assistance as well.
Yeah, who's the better slammer, Kalo? Blissey or Buzzswole? It's looking like Blissey to me personally at the moment. Oh my goodness, the chisel's running. That was so close right there from Inter. That kill would have been such big value for them. They're still looking to try to get this Metang into a Metagross. They finally do off a piece of farm, but Orange Juicer's already coming out of the gates, swinging now at the 5-minute mark, already 60 points ahead. And with that tier 1 goal zone as an advantage, Inter is definitely going to have to try to take as much advantage of the farm on the map as possible, considering they have more than Orange Juicers.
Yeah, we have 10 seconds left to go until the basement Reggie appears. However, Absol has decided to take things into their own hands, taking down their Speedster counterpart, as we do have the Mime coming in with that Showtime to try and get some stuns, buy some time for Inter to make it back down into this tier 1 pad. However, Buzzwell Blissey, once again, on a little mission of their own, trying to get in some back caps, but Zero Aura did end up spawning in time to go and stop the dunks in their tracks.
Oh, what an unfortunate wall right there from Inter. It did unfortunately cancel the compute and crush. Just got stuck and unfortunately couldn't collapse on that target. They will be able to get that Unite back, but I feel like that might be honestly for the best right now. If they can find a pick on this Buzzwole, Gatling Bolt Missile is going to be popped to try to deter Inter from finishing that knockout. But Orange Juicers has been making it rain in the backside while Inter's trying to find some sort of value somewhere.
Yeah, it's 118 to 249 points. However, looking at the levels right now, it seems, pretty even across the board, but that outlying be that Absol at already that level 13 mark. So they are going to go in with that mid-light slash dust to show their prowess on the field, being able to take down 2 members of Inter, 3 members, and the poor Zero Aura ended up getting taken down once again to the hands of the Buzzwole.
Yeah, and that's more picks and more points for Orange Juicer. Kratos already almost level 14 at that, clicking into it at 3 minutes. That thing is a menace at the moment, already out-leveling the entirety of Inter, and the supports are already almost leveling out the carries of Inter too. Inter in big trouble at the moment.
Wait, what? They let it walk in? That is really interesting. That Metagross and the Eldegoss decided to just wait in the bush. It looks like they're trying to set up a bit of a trap here. Whether Orange Juices are actually going to end up falling for the bait, I mean, there's still a fair bit of time before the final stretch, but Blissey was the one to be the sacrifice to go and break that tier 2 pad. It doesn't really matter that they end up getting taken down there, considering their cooldown timer was quite short.
Yeah, Roland just trying to offer Inter an egg in these trying times, considering you're facing down an Absol with a fresh Regirock buff, especially against all of this damage. Oh, it's going to be rolling up. Oh, no. Roland finds the Miracle Slam, catching 4 members off guard, deleting 2 almost instantly. It's going to be the easiest cleanup of Kratos' life, walked into level 15, and this is going to be Orange Juicers on this Rayquaza with a haste. They're going to be able to easily clear off this candle, and there is nobody on the board unless Zora makes the miracle play right now. The Emerald Gaze, and it is with the Wild Charge yank back. Inter pulls it back and gets only 1 shield though, but wait, there might be more shields considering there are members of Inter that were spawning back. Yes, Metagross does have that shield. Eldegoss does have that shield. Even Mr. Mime does have that shield. So there's plenty of opportunities right here for Inter to get some scores, Hello.
Absolute no way that Zero was able to get the hit, going on in with the perfect timing of their Unite move and that discharge combination. Orange Juice is really on the back foot here because they need to put up the defense. As you can see that Cramorant and Blissey have decided to set up base for that tier 1 pad, but Inter are aware of this. Looks like they're going around to the top side, but they end up coming up against the wall there, as Orange Juices are waiting and looking to break these shields. Wait, mine. Did they just end up using a Unite move to try and escape that Buzz Wall?
Yeah, and that's gonna be a fresh 50 bomber that they're going to be delivering into that top tier 2, but Orange Juicers
Oh,
is already putting the pressure on in the bottom side. They're gonna be able
wait.
to toss another core. No! It stopped! It stopped!
Oh,
The Metagross is just able to stop it just in time, and Ointer, they're ahead by 30 points, Kello.
oh my gosh. Blissey ends up getting taken down. Look at the Buzzwall health. No, they end up getting taken down to the Gyro Ball. Galaxy Girl managing to get in another 10 points of their own. 10 seconds left to go. And Inter have just made that absolute miracle run of that final stretch. Nate Lick Chos, definitely that highlighted player there, which means Orange Juicers weren't able to squeeze the day this time round as they have just been defeated.
Yeah, my orange juice is looking a little pulp free right now, unfortunately. It's so unfortunate that that Zorora was just able to click in instantly, and that wild charge is really just honestly well timed. Because there's not a lot that you have to press that perfectly because that dash back is so fast, and not only is it so fast, it does a lot of damage too. So there really wasn't anybody from Orange Juicer's side. It doesn't look like they had any cooldowns to secure that Rayquaza, and Inter making something out of nothing. They're gonna be your Unity Clash champions, everybody.
Yeah, congratulations to
Woo!
them as we are gonna look at the stats of this board. I do have a request from our observer here. I would absolutely love to see the graph and how this match ended up playing out. But we can see, yeah, Zero Aura picking up 86k damage. Oh, wow. Look at that. They pretty much are flatlined after that
Oh.
first quarter. They were able to pick themselves up a Reg Ice, and of course, you know, that Rayquaza at the end, but that was a steep mountain to climb to take the champion title.
Yeah, I mean, it's just absolutely crazy how that cycle of events ended up playing out. With Orange Juicers finding those initial picks, by the time that the Zora ends up sniping away the Rayquaza, everybody's coming off the pad with fresh, fully charged Ray Shields. And with so many points on the ground, Inter is just able to make it happen. And that stop from Metagross honestly was probably more of a game saver than the Zorora securing the Rayquaza. I'll just let it out there. If that score went in, it would have been light. Either of those
Yeah.
scores win in, it would have been lights out for Inter, and we would be in a game 3 situation. But Inter, you're Unity Clash champions, and you can't say it wasn't earned.
No, it definitely was. They have actually made such an incredible run this tournament. Yesterday, they were undefeated. Today, being able to make their way through that winner's side run. However, Orange Juicers, a very formidable foe considering they did send them to that bracket reset. But unfortunately, all hopium is lost for Orange Juicers. But you know what? They don't go home empty-handed, Ribbon, as it is a $325 prize pool for the Unity Clash. So that is, I mean, majority of that cash is going to go over to Inter, but Orange Juices are able to pick up a slice of that cake for themselves as well.
Yep, and they absolutely earned it. But I feel like Zoinks is going to need to update his whiteboard after today. I feel we might have a new team on the map, especially led by such a magnificent captain underneath Utah. This new roster is absolutely cooking, and I feel like they're going to be ready come around next season.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's still a fair bit away, so lots of time to practice